Hi guys, welcome back to Delicate Moments. My name's Steph.
Do you believe in magic? Delicate moments that last forever.
So today we're going to be making quite an elegant dress. I've chosen this fabric. So it's on a white background. It's 100% cotton. I've gone for cotton poplin, so the drape is nice, because we're doing a double skirt today, a double circle skirt. So it's going to be nice and full. And when the child twirls, it'll just look beautiful. But also, it's quite a simple body. It's just got two little straps on each side and then nothing else to the body. So the skirt will look nice and full. I think it will look really classy, really elegant. So that's why I've chosen this fabric. So watch till the end to see the final result. Let's get started. So we're going to start with the two little straps. And I'm just going to take them to the ironing board and press them in to create the strap. I'll do that and I'll come back. So I've pressed these and folded them in, just so that there's no raw edges along the strap. What I'm going to do now is just going to sew down the edge just to make it secure. Now, what I love about these straps is you can see the pops of colour through them. When I was picking this fabric, that's why I chose this fabric, because I wanted the straps to have a pop of colour on them, and they do.
In an old wooden barn where the daylight falls through the cracks in the beams above, there's a needle and thread on a weathered table and a dress being stitched with love. Dust dances slow in the golden air as the soft wind hums outside, and the sound of the needle through cotton and lace keeps a quiet, gentle time.
So we've got the strap pieces ready now. We're going to attach them to our body. We're just going to pinch the fabric in half, and that'll give us a line. And I'm just going to mark that line. I'm going to do the same on the other side.
Let it fall where the warm winds blow. Every thread, every line you touch.
Now I'm just going to place these. Now I'm just going to place the strap onto the bodice and base them in place.
Lives a love that will always wait in a dress made of care and time. Every stitch says you are mine. In the hush of the barn as the evening falls and the light turns amber and gold, she lifts the dress from the wooden chair, sees a story begin to unfold. Tiny sleeves and a flowing skirt with a softness you almost feel, like a moment you wish you could hold forever, like a love that was always real. Years will pass and the dress will fade, but the thread will still.
So now we're going to find the matching lining piece. We're going to place it right sides together, flip it in place on the neckline, and then sew across. So I'm going to sew across here. Once that's done, I'll sew my cycles.
Let it fall where the warm winds blow. Every thread, every line you trace holds a memory time won't erase. In the quiet of hands that create
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the seam allowance with my pinking shears just to make sure that when the dress is made, we're not going to have any fraying fabric, so it'll last a long time. I'm going to clip these corners just to ensure that they're nice and sharp when we flip them the right side out. We're now going to be working on connecting the back body. So we're going to find our back body pieces. We're just going to make the same pinch again at the top seam. That just shows us where our straps will go. So we're going to attach it here. One strap on either side of them lines.
A young mother sat on a cold wooden floor by the glow.
I'm just going to face that in place, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side.
Her child is shaking with frost in the air. Little hands curled tight in sleep. So she gathered old cloth from a weathered old chest and promised a promise to keep. The needle moves slow through the quiet of night, thread pulling hope through the seams. Every stitch held a prayer in the pale candlelight. Every fold stitched warmth into dreams.
So now the straps are basted in place. That was a little bit of messing around because I wanted to make sure that the straps were perfect. I didn't want no gaps in, and I just wanted to make sure they were nice and flush. So when the body is all complete, it fits nicely on the child. So now we're going to be working on the back pieces. We're going to place these right sides together. And then I'm just going to clip along here, clipping them together. And then sew that in place.
Years rolled on like a river through stone, and the child grew steady and strong. But the needle still sang in the mother's worn hands as the quiet nights drifted along.
So I'm just going to check that the straps are nice and flat. Yeah, I'm happy with them. I'm going to move this strap out of the way. Slide it in there. And then we're going to sew the armhole.
Time left its mark in the lines of her face, and the fire in her hands burned low. The child stood tall where the mother once stood. As the
Tracking this strap, making sure it's sitting nice and flush, which it is. Poke that back in there. I'm going to trim the seam allowance and clip into the corners again.
years before, when the frost crept under the door, the child found the chest where the old fabric slept, just like mother had done on that floor.
Now I'm just going to repeat that process for the corresponding back bodies.
Thread pulling love through the cloth. Every stitch held a memory sewn through the years. Every seam held the warmth she once brought. The blanket grew thick in the pale candle glow as the wind sang low through the east. And the child laid its soft on the mother's old frame, like a promise the heart still believes. She smiled so faint as the blanket lay warm on the shoulders that once carried pain. And the child held her hand through the quiet of night, till the morning brought silence again. Outside the frost touched the world just the same, but the cold held no sorrow that day.
So now we need to attach the body's front to the body's made. The body's front to the body's back. The way we're going to do that is join up the back and the front at the seams in the middle. Join the other side up. This is going to make our side seams and our armholes. Now we're just going to go sew straight down there.
We were thunder in the hallway, slamming doors and shouting names, drawing lines across the carpet, turning small things into flames. You stole my place at the table, I broke your face.
Now the last thing to do on the bodice is the buttonholes. So I want one of my buttonholes to be at least 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. So I'm just going to place a mark there. I'm also going to place a mark 1/4 inch from the top. And then I'm going to use this sewing gauge, place that on the top mark and place the bottom piece. We'll start from it closed on the back of the body. I'm going to stretch it down to 3 and then pop a mark within centre pieces. So we've got 3 rough guides for our buttonholes. Now I'm just going to measure in 3/8 where I want the buttonhole starting. We are just going to decide which buttons we're going to be going for. I am thinking red, but we'll have a look what looks best. Okay, so I've chosen my buttons. I've got my button in my buttonhole foot. I'm going to pop that on my machine. We're going to start with making the first one. Go ahead and make our second one. Okay, so that has actually messed up. So I'm going to attempt to unpick it. Buttonholes are very unpredictable, but very often they will go wrong. I'm hoping this isn't too much of a nightmare to unpick. It doesn't cause too much damage. Just being very careful not to rip the fabric. And just the stitches are so close together, it's so easy to damage your fabric. You've just got to be so careful. I'm just devastated when this happens. You put all your hard work in and then the machine just messes it up. Okay, we're going to give it another try and hope for the best. That's definitely better. What I'm going to do is with zigzag stitches over the top here. I feel like it'll make it a little bit more secure because I'm not 100% that's going to be. It should be fine, but I just don't want to risk it. So I'll take my bottom foot off, put my normal foot back on. There we have it, our button hold. Now we're going to be moving on to the skirt. So we're going to find the centre of the skirt. We've found the centre. Now we're going to start making our placket. We're going to draw a 3-inch line going down. And then just a 1/4 of an inch line to either side of that horizontally. Then I'm going to cut that line I've just made. Now we've got a shape that looks like a W. We're going to get our placket. We're just going to line it up against the line we just cut. And then I'm going to sew that in place. Now we're looking like this. I'm just going to take it to the ironing board, press up, and then fold it over, and then we can sew. And then I'm just going to edge stitch this in place.
Every stitch is small but faithful.
Now I'm just going to sew a diagonal line down here, just so then when it opens nice and flat. Now, as you can see from this side, it opens lovely. We've now sewn our placket, so we need to construct the skirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them right sides together and create 2 side seams. So I've got my second skirt piece here. I'm just going to place them on top of each other. So we're going to place these together at the side seams. I'm going to pin all the way up there and do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to sew them together, then overlap them. So this is what we're working with now. We've got 1 skirt piece rather than 2. Next we need to hem the skirt. So there's a few ways you can do it. I've chosen to use bias tape, which I'll walk you through. But you could just overlock the edges and then fold your hem up. But I don't think it looks very professional that way, so I'm going to hem it all using bias tape. So this is bias tape. And basically what it does is hide your hem. So what I'm going to do first is just open it up. We press 1/2 inch in. We don't have any raw edges, so I'll just take that to the ironing board. Place the skirt right side up. And we're just going to join this up, the raw edge, and then clip that in place. Now we're going to go all the way around the skirt and do that. It will take a while because it's a big skirt, it's a double circle skirt, so it's going to be very full. It's a bit tedious, but it's really worth it. This skirt comes out looking amazing. So we finally have all the clips in place, all the bias tape in place. Now we need to sew it on. So we're going to sew all around this first fold. So we've now got the bias trim added to the right side. What we need to do now is press it forward and flip it under, and we'll clip that in place and then we'll sew it. So I'll take it to the ironing board, press it forward, flip it under, and then it'll sit like that. Okay, so we press this flat now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin it to the opposite side. Okay, now we have all that clipped in place. We're just going to sew around the edge of the bias tape, and then that's our hem complete. So we'll start from none of the side sleeves.
There's a fire burning low in the midnight air, and the embers glow soft and red. We're all set close where the light still holds and the stories get gently said. There's a guitar and hand worn smooth.
Now we have the hem finished. This is where it looks right side up. And then we look underneath, you can see the bias tape, that's all the way around the hem. So, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a good press, and then I'm going to sew a gathering stitch around the top of the skirt, so then I can gather the skirt to the same width as the body.
Little dresses spun in the evening breeze, and the sound of their voices free. Every moment caught in a simple song that we didn't know we'd need. So play it slow, let the old chords ring, let the past come alive in the sound we bring. Every note holds a life we knew in the quiet glow of the firelight hue. And though time moves on like it always will, there are songs that the heart holds still.
So we're now going to gather this circle skirt and clip it to the body.
We sing of nights when the world felt small, and a mother's hand stitched the days of ribbons tied and the dresses made.
Now that's what we're looking at.
Quietest ways. Brothers, sisters,
I've got my bodice here, and what I'm going to do is place it inside the skirt. I'm going to match up both marks that I've just made, and then I'm going to clip that in place. Now I need to match up the side seams. Side seam here. Okay, now that's complete. I'm going to sew that, and then it'll be attached. So, we've now sewn that in place. If we flip this over, wow, so it's looking a lot more like a dress now. This pattern is absolutely stunning. So now the dress has all been ironed, she's looking absolutely beautiful. This dress is stunning. It's very elegant, nice fitted body with a beautiful full skirt. The fabric is gorgeous. The colours just pop on the flowers. And I think it just looks so nice with this pattern. I'd say the favourite part of this dress would definitely be the skirt. So if I show you now, you'll see just how full the skirt is. And I absolutely love a twirly dress. So yeah, I'm going to show you some glamour shots now. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like. Make sure you're following our channel. There'll be lots more videos like this. So thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Believe in magic stitched with love. Little dreams fit like a glove. Moments fade but threads remain. Sewn in memory, joy and grace. Softly sewn in golden light. Little dreams take gentle flight. Every stitch a story told. Hearts and threads of silver.